She thought she won. Diane, my stepmother, stood at the head of the boardroom table, papers in hand, declaring herself the new CEO. I knew I would lose my inheritance if I didn't act fast. Her voice was calm, confident, almost rehearsed. Everyone clapped. Everyone except me, because I knew something she didn't. My father, the man who built this company brick by brick, had left me a secret plan. And once I uncovered it, her empire of lies began to crumble. My father was the kind of man who could walk into a room and command respect without saying a word. He wasn't born wealthy. He built everything from nothing. The company he created wasn't just his livelihood. It was his life's work, his legacy. After my mother passed, the house felt empty. And I think that's why he remarried so quickly. Diane came into our lives like a storm, glamorous, polished, always dressed in designer clothes. She knew how to smile at the right people, how to say the right things. At first, I wanted to believe she loved him. Maybe she did, but over time, her mask slipped. She didn't just want to be my father's wife. She wanted to be the power behind his empire. I noticed how she would lean over his shoulder during meetings, her hand casually sliding the pen toward contracts. She'd insist on attending shareholder dinners, whispering in his ear before he spoke. And whenever I asked questions, she'd laugh softly and say, "Sophia, business isn't your world. Leave it to the adults." But my father trusted me. He would call me into his office late at night, after Diane had gone to bed. He'd sit back in his leather chair and tell me about the company's struggles, its victories, and the values he built it on. "Never let greed run this company, Sophia," he said once. "It will destroy everything." I didn't realize then that he was preparing me for war. When my father's health began to decline, Diane's behavior changed. She practically moved into his office, fielding calls and controlling his calendar. She told me he was too tired for visitors, even though I was his daughter. Sometimes I'd find her signing papers for him, brushing me off with, "It's just a formality. Don't bother him." Then came the day of the shareholders' meeting, 2 weeks after my father's funeral. I walked in, my heart still raw from grief. Diane stood at the head of the table, wearing a black dress and pearls, her expression somber but victorious. She announced that my father had signed over his majority shares to her, making her the new CEO. Gasps filled the room. Some shareholders clapped nervously. Others glanced at me with pity. I tried to speak, but Diane cut me off. "Sophia, your father wanted me to lead. It's time you accept that. You're young, inexperienced. You don't know how to run a company like this." Her words stung, but the way she looked at me, cold, calculating, made me realize this was her plan all along. After the meeting, she cornered me in the hallway. "Stay out of this, Sophia," she said, her voice low and sharp. "Your father trusted me, not you. If you fight me, you'll lose everything, even your inheritance. Walk away while you still can." But that night, I remembered something. My father's last request before he died. "Sophia, there's a box under my bed. Don't open it until you have to." I had shoved it into my closet, too consumed by grief to look at it. But now, trembling, I pulled it out. Inside was a sealed envelope with my name written in his handwriting. "Sophia, if Diane has made her move, know that I prepared for this. She will try to take what isn't hers. I couldn't stop her, but I could protect you and the company. Go to my office. Open the bottom drawer of my desk. The key is taped underneath. Inside, you'll find everything you need." My hands shook as I followed his instructions. In his desk drawer was another envelope and a small flash drive. The papers revealed that my father had created a trust making me the sole beneficiary of his shares. Diane had no legal claim. The flash drive was worse or better, depending on how you look at it. It contained recordings of Diane pressuring him to sign documents, manipulating board members, and even threatening to forge his signature if he didn't comply. Hearing her voice, cold, venomous, made my blood boil. She had been planning this takeover for months, maybe years. The next morning, I walked into the boardroom with my father's documents and the flash drive. Diane was already there, seated in his chair, sipping coffee like she owned the place. I stood tall, my voice steady. Before we begin, I think everyone here deserves to hear the truth. I handed the papers to the board members, then plugged the flash drive into the projector. Diane's voice filled the room. If you don't sign it, I'll forge it myself. The company will be mine, whether Sophia likes it or not. Gasps echoed around the table. Shareholders exchanged shocked looks. One man muttered, "Unbelievable!" Diane's face turned pale, her confident smile gone. She tried to speak, but I cut her off. My father built this company on honesty and integrity. He left me proof because he knew what you'd try to do. You will never control this company. By the time the last recording played, the board voted unanimously to remove Diane from any position of influence. Security escorted her out of the building, her heels clicking angrily against the marble floor. I sat in my father's chair, the weight of the moment pressing on me. For the first time, I understood why he prepared me. He knew her betrayal was inevitable, but he also knew I was strong enough to face it. Diane thought she could steal my father's legacy. She underestimated him and me. He left me a secret plan. And with it, I didn't just save the company. I proved to her and to everyone that loyalty runs deeper than greed. My father's voice still echoes in my mind. Never let greed run this company. And now, with him gone, I carry that promise forward stronger than ever. If you enjoyed my story, please take a minute to like and subscribe for more stories like this.